So, Roofer to Roofer, as always, if anyone has questions, please do jump in and ask those. Otherwise, we're gonna focus on the questions that we have lined up. So, oh man.
You want to hear a quick funny story about how my day started? Because you'll kind of like it probably.
Yeah, hit
Since you
me.
don't have kids, you don't have to deal with this shit yet. So I wake up this morning, 5 o'clock. I got a gym in my basement. I go downstairs every morning. First thing I do, I work out every morning. Not like hardcore or anything. I just get my day going, right?
Yeah.
So I walk down the stairs and I got my socks on because I have a pair of shoes I leave in the gym. They're just my gym tennis shoes, right? So I walk downstairs, my socks, and I hear a little something like a little hiss noise coming from my bathroom in my basement. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I start walking too, and I start squishing in the carpet.
No.
So my 3-year-old is like obsessed with washing his hands. He washes his hands like constantly, always washing his hands.
Oh,
So he last night he washed his hands and we didn't catch it. He didn't turn the sink off. Well, because it's in a basement and it was kind of an afterthought, it's an upflush toilet. So the toilet, everything's plumbed into the toilet, and then it's got a pump and it pumps the water up into the plumbing, right? Well, if that thing isn't working, the electronics in it aren't working be- because what happened was the GFCI tripped because it was so hot in there and there was so much steam in that room, it tripped the GFCI because it was hot water that was leaking out. So it literally flooded my entire basement. And then it ruined the entire bathroom. So all the drop ceiling are like falling in because it was so hot in there from running hot water for 10 hours. The steam rolling out of that room when I opened that door.
it was just full
The
blast hot
door,
water.
yeah, dude, the door is a wood door. It's not like a particle board door. It's a wood, like a nice wood door. It's swelled up so bad I can't shut it. Like everything, the vanity ruined, the door ruined, everything's freaking ruined. Trim, ceiling. I'm like, that was 5 o'clock this morning for me. So it's been a day. Like I about actually went to sleep like an hour ago, just because I was so frustrated with the day. But
Oh
uh,
no.
anyway, no one was
What a
mad. I didn't
mess.
even get mad at him. I didn't yell at him. It's a 3-year-old man. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's just a stupid little mistake, and he
You
didn't
get
know.
mad at a dog that, chases a rabbit, it's like,
Right. Exactly. It's just
yeah.
it's just part of it. But oh my god, it was so upsetting this morning. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta deal with this shit now. So now I kind of laugh about it.
Yeah. You're gonna you may not be mad, but you're gonna tell that story for years.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and then I've got like 10 fans going I'm in my basement now in the office, and you can't hear it on here, but I hope not. But there's
No,
like 10 fans going out there. Luckily, my office didn't get anything. I was surprised because it's actually adjoining the other side of the office is a bathroom. So
yeah.
I got lucky. Which not that there's anything in here that would have mattered, but still, whatever.
You don't have to worry about that area at least.
Yep. Nope. We're moving on. But anyway, pretty funny story. I thought I'd share.
Man. Yeah, that's
Kids.
a rough one. That's a rough one.
My
I'm
kids
not ready
destroy
for that.
everything. Honestly, everything.
All right. Let me see. Let me get a good question here to start. Um, what are what are the first steps to take immediately after you get a signed contract for a roof?
So we have an automation set up for first step. And as soon as the contract signed, we have an automation. ProLine sends a message out and it's like on like a 30-second delay, I think, if I remember right. But basically, we're teeing up the 5-star review at that point. We've already set it at the pitch, that's the service we offer. Check out our Google reviews. That's what we want. That's what we're chasing. But then once they sign a contract, we got another opportunity to tee that up and clarify, be prepared for these next steps. We're going to order your material. We'll give you a heads up when that's in. We'll give you 24-hour notice before we are coming to do the install. And here's the things to remember during the install. This is what's going to happen. We just want to keep reiterating all these things, so they know they need to mow their grass short. They know that they need to move their collectibles and valuables that are in the landscaping inside, out, away from the house, whatever. We just so once that contract signed, now it's like it's go time. We want to inform you of next steps and how to get this thing to completion with as little headache and little stress as possible.
That makes sense. I like that, teeing up the 5-star review. Yeah, just like
I think the first sentence in that text that goes out is, "Thanks so much for choosing Rainstoppers Roofing for your roofing project. We plan to give you a 5-star service." Just using that 5-star word just to try to kind of build that into their head a little bit.
Yep, that makes sense. Do you how quickly are you moving to look at ordering materials? Like, what's your timeline on that? Do you wait a little while? Are you immediately looking to try to get some materials ordered or on hold at least with the supplier? How do you do that?
So our goal is to basically order the material as soon as they sign. Now, a lot of times they sign in the evening, they sign on a weekend. So it's just, next opportunity, we're going to place the order. We do that because our supplier, as long as we place it as a good order, and we don't have to set a delivery date, because most of our material is going to be in stock, unless it's a metal roof or something real special. It's going to be a stock item. But we want to place that order right away, because if there's any price changes at all, we're already locked in with that order. So that way we know the contract price that we sold the job on, our price with our supplier is with that contract price. We're good. We're not getting burnt by a 5% increase that we forgot about or whatever. So we place the order right away and we send them a message, like I said, next business day or whatever. The customer then the next day gets a text, an automated text says, "Hey, Mr. Customer, your materials have been ordered. We'll be in touch the day prior to installation." Now, mind you, we're in contact with them, and we tell them right off the rip that what week we plan to do their job. So if we sell the job on Wednesday, we're booking 2 weeks out. We plan to do your job in about 2 weeks. So plan for us around this time frame. And then we only offer a 24-hour heads up. We give you 24 hours. Now, when you sign with us about where your roof is going to fall, but we don't want to stick ourselves saying, "Yep, we're going to be there in 4 days." Because sure as shit, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's going to rain. It's going to do something. So we just be ready for us about this week, this 5-day period window. We'll be there sometime in there. We'll give you 24-hour heads up to be certain of it, and that's, to me, could you do a little better? Possibly. Yeah, sure. We get 0 complaints. Nobody has a problem with that.
Yeah. When you're ordering the materials, you use the material order template inside of ProLine?
Yep. Yeah, we take that template and copy it and shoot it to our supplier in an email.
Yeah. And then you're just selecting you have it selected by default to just put it on hold, like not sending a delivery date.
Yeah. And well, they know that's just the arrangement. They know.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. How do you then handle that on like once you do have like the date set, the weather is good, like when are you having the materials delivered? Are you waiting until 100% we're doing the work tomorrow? Or is it like 3 days out? Like when are you telling the supplier, go ahead and bring it?
So what we try to do is most of my guys try to place their delivery dates on like Wednesday for next week. So tomorrow we'll have a bunch of material get delivered. We place the order on Wednesday for delivery. Most of the time we have it delivered on Friday. Like we basically, our local ABC here, that I mean Fridays are basically ours. Like we're using 6 trucks. You know what I mean? We're delivering a bunch of jobs every Friday, and they know that. That's just kind of the way we've gotten to be with them. But Wednesday we place our orders. Friday they deliver everything. That's what we plan to use for the next week. And then every week you're just kind of giving or taking a day. Depending on how the previous week went of how much to order, right?
Yeah.
If you work 7 days just because of beautiful, perfect weather, and you burn up all your material on the ground. But if you had 3 days of rain, you might not be ordering as much.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Is it ever a concern with having that material delivered on a Friday and having it sit around waiting for the build date, for 2, 3, 5 days? Is that ever a concern? Have you ever had stuff stolen off a job site?
No, no. We deliver it right up against the house. I mean, luckily we live in a pretty low crime area anyway. I think we've had like some drip edge get stolen from a job a couple times where people scrappers are out stealing aluminum.
Yeah.
It's just not worth. We get asked that by customers a lot. Like, you sure it's going to be okay sitting out there? You sure? It's like, who the hell wants to pick up 80-pound bundles of shingles that are only worth $30? And they're only worth $30 to somebody that needs them. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, dude, I don't, how many people want to pick those up that get paid to pick them up? You know what I mean? Most people don't want to do that, let alone have to go try to find somewhere to get rid of them, and make a buck. It just, like I said, drip edge has gotten stolen maybe twice ever. Like it's very uncommon. And even then it's like, as soon as you get to the job that you're short, the no drip edges at the job, and you're like, shit. Okay, well,
some drip edge.
so somebody go grab drip edge.
Yeah. Yeah. This actually gets me thinking. You're talking about bundles. So our default templates in ProLine are by the square, or not by the, well, we do have per square, just like very simple templates now if people want to do pricing per square. With default ProLine templates, but we also have our quote templates, but we also have the full templates. But even the full templates, the price list items for the shingles are in square. So the pricing is per square. And it's a per square amount. Now, the thing that we've run into recently is some people are concerned about they only want to order the exact amount of shingles they feel they need and no more. And so in ProLine, we round up the quantities at the end to the nearest full number, which you have to do. I don't think a supplier is going to accept a decimal as a quantity, right? Like if you're submitting a work order, would they accept like 1.3 as a quantity?
Mine would.
Really? They would recognize that
They know.
as being a third of a square.
Yeah, and if they didn't, it would be a real quick conversation, and then they'd never ask again.
Yeah.
It'd be one of those things that they're like, why is that 1.3? Well, it takes 3 bundles to make a square. 0.3 is a third.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. 0.33. Yeah.
And they would be like, oh yeah, okay. And I don't honestly, I don't think it'd get to that far.
But don't
But
you do bundles anyway?
I do bundles. We order by the bundle, and we never did. But we spent a lot of time figuring waste factor. We've put a lot of effort into really dialing in our pricing. I mean, we are super precise. Like, we have less than a bundle left over on almost every job. It's tight. We've got our numbers just very dialed in, depending on how much value there is, depending on different factors. And when we do that, we're able to, if you're inflated your price by 2 square, right? Let's say you inflated your price 2 square to cover potential waste factor. Well, at $400 a square, which is about where it feels like an entry level roof system is today, that's $800. So if you inflated your price that much, you're charging that customer $800 more than what you have to make what you want to make. Now, great. If you sell the job, that's fantastic, because now you return some material, you don't pay as much in labor. You made an extra $800 on the job. Fantastic. That's great, right? But with as tight as this market seems to be right now, I can promise you we win jobs because of that.
800.
That $800 isn't that $800 fluff is not in our pricing today, and it used to be. I mean, we did that. We did it with ridge vent. We went from rolled ridge vent because the rolls are 25 feet. So we went to the 4-foot pieces, because obviously, depending on how your roof falls, 4-foot pieces are going to be much less waste than a 25-foot roll. What's if you need 60 feet, right? You're going to have a good bit of waste on that last 25-foot roll on a 4-footer. It's almost the same price per linear foot, but I only have to buy it in 4-foot increments instead of 25-foot increments. So we did a lot of things like that. There's a few other little things that we did just to dial it in to where, I mean, to tell you, there's not much slop, I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah. What would you say to someone that's in that situation where they're trying to get it exact, and they don't want any more waste factor than they absolutely have to have, and they are trying, because this has come up I think twice now, where somebody wanted to do that but also wanted to keep track of their pricing and display on the quote, and then also display on their orders by the square. And so they wanted to do 0.33 or 0.66 as a quantity, and push that through. Would you say, yeah, ProLine needs to add in decimal quantities, or would you say just quote by the bundle? Like, just switch to quote and by the bundle?
I would just quit. I mean, you can do it either way. And that's an easy thing to change if you just go, if you bought ProLine and the factory quote templates by the square. I mean, it's not real hard to go in and just change that on your particular, if you want to quote it. I would say most people don't. I would say most people do quote by the square. That's going to be the predominant way of quoting. Like I said, we always did until 4 months ago.
Yeah.
We just felt it was necessary, but here's the thing though. We put a lot of time and effort into doing that. And what's more expensive if you're short material, that's a problem. So I would rather have the additional, 2 bundles to the job than be short.
Yeah.
But we like I said, we put a bunch of effort and a bunch of time into dialing our process in. And unless you've really, really taken some time, and not just me and all of our sales team, have really, really just dialed in exactly what we're quoting, how many feet of this, how many feet of that, how much is left over on each job, and dial that in, and it took 30, 40, 50 jobs, to really get that figured out.
Do you think that ProLine needs to offer fractional quantities then, or no?
No, I would just change it.
Just change
in the template.
Yeah. Change it over to the bundles. That's been what we've been telling people, because introducing fractions into quantities and into potential integrations with suppliers and stuff like that is it causes a lot of issues, and so it would be on the software side. And so we're trying to figure out, is that something that actually we do need to do, or is there a better workaround? It sounds like there's an easy workaround, and that is like if you're worried about saving that 1 or 2 bundles, then you just need to be quoting by the bundle.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you've went and spent enough time to figure that out, you can figure out how to change that little bit of a template in ProLine
To be bundles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the way we've been leaning. I think it is on our idea board still, just to see if it gets votes. So we'll still consider it. There's just so many downsides, so many issues that come up with fractional, because even like it's not truly fractional. Like if you sent 1.5 square to your supplier, they're not going to give you anything, because they're not
No,
going to
that
split
doesn't
up the
work.
bundle, right? So fundamentally, you're still having to round
Yes.
anyway, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I agree. Just switch it to bundles.
yeah. All right. Let's say we'll set them up here. All right. So this is a question from a solo roofer. He's asking, what tools should I be investing in to try to maximize what I can do by myself without having to hire other people?
So I actually thought about this one time because I was having a real. This has been a while ago, but I thought about just going out and doing repairs by myself. Like, just fire everybody, shut her down. I'll just do like small roofs, and repairs. Nothing big, you know. Um, so I would have a couple pitch hoppers. The DeWalt battery roofing gun is fantastic. I've got one, and that thing is awesome. Like, for repairs,
It's not
the best.
pneumatic. There's no air.
Nope. Plug a 24-volt battery and just start banging away. It's heavy. It's freaking heavy. So it's like, you don't want to go nail 10 square on with it because your arm's going to fall off, you know. But to nail on a square or two, oh, it's a no-brainer. You don't have to get a hoses out and compressor and extension cord and trip over your freaking hose. You know, that's a pain in the ass all the time. Why do it when you don't have a whole lot of nailing to do? That's definitely a tool that's a must have for a guy doing, small work, repair work. Because if you're a solo dude, you're not taking on big projects. You can't. Like, it wouldn't be. It just morally wouldn't be right, because you can't open up hardly any roof in any amount of time by yourself. I mean, it's
Yeah.
most of the time we have 8 to 12 people on a job, depending on the size of the job. So um, yeah, that's one for sure I would have. And then there was one other one I was thinking that would obviously you got to have your battery kit, your impacts and sawzalls and skill saws and things like that. But yeah, the pitch hopper and that battery gun. Those are, I mean, everybody knows the other tools you need, the simple stuff, but that's two that I would absolutely have. Oh, it's the one insurance companies require you to use when doing repairs so you don't crease shingles. The roof snake, that thing's badass. It's really, really handy. Yeah, so it's for hand driving nails and hand pulling nails from damaged shingles, but it's one little tool that basically makes that really easy, to where you're not damaged. If you're doing repair work, you're not damaging the surrounding shingles nearly as bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So just focus, do the small jobs, mostly small repairs.
There's so much of it out there. There's so much of it out there.
Because everyone's trying to repair the roof. And nobody
Nobody wants nobody, and you got to be pretty cheap. Don't get me wrong. Like you got to do these for like $200. But if you're by yourself in a single cab pickup with a utility bed on it, loaded down with, probably got a few grand worth of tools in it.
Yeah. Do 4 or 5 a day. 4 or
Do
5
4 or
pieces.
5 a day, easy,
Yeah.
easy. And it's like, I mean, who? That's
A lot of
$1,000
a lot
a
of it's
day.
cash.
I'd say most of it's cash. If you want it to be all of it's cash,
Yeah.
just tell them it's $200 cash. Like,
Yeah.
I don't take checks. You know what I mean? And then you figure your own taxes out how you see fit. But
mean,
I love it. I love that idea. If I was to do this over again, there's a big part of me that thinks that knowing what I know now, that's a very possible way I would just went.
yeah, win personally at least.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that live quite the lifestyle, that work bartending or something like that, and they'll make that $800 to $1,000, and they'll work 3 day/nights a week, and then just live
Yep.
lavishly. And so you can create that same lifestyle and not even work every day
Yep.
and create a
That's
great
exactly right.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to make $150,000 a year doing that with pretty low stress. Pretty low stress.
Yeah.
And not much education. I mean, roof repair is not that difficult, so yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. All right. Let's hit something marketing. So this question is, how would I go about cross-selling solar panels or gutters when I'm selling a roof?
So we don't sell solar. It's really, really not. I mean, in my whole area, like we just never see it. You don't even see people that have it hardly. I know a couple people, but it's very, very rare. So we don't fool with solar. I think it'd be awesome. Like I would love to. I've looked into it a bunch of times. It's just not used here. But we sell a lot of gutters. We like upselling gutter guards better than gutters because we get almost the same money out of them, and our roofing crew will install them. With actual gutter replacements, we have to bring a gutter crew in to do that labor. So now we have two separate crews working on one job site. Now it's not at the same time, it's consecutive, one follows the other. But the gutter crew's usually behind the roofing crew a handful of days. So that holds up payment, right? So now we're not getting paid for that job for an additional week. It also just kind of seems like a little bit less organized. There's just another step in the process. Not to say we don't make good money on them. I mean, we charge good money for gutters and we make good margins on gutters. I like gutter guards better just because the roofing crew can do them. But the question is how do you present that and how do you sell that? We built a really, really awesome page in our templates that explain what gutter guards are and why you should add them to your roofing project. And right in that quote template, without any extra effort, is a additional price for gutter guards that just auto populates off of the measurement for eaves. So if you plug in an eave measurement, the gutter guard price auto generates in the quote template. So we don't have to try to sell it. It's everybody gets that option presented to them, and we sell a bunch of it because of it. Everybody sees it and they're like, oh, okay. What about these gutter guards? Those look nice. Yeah, they're only, $1,800 added on to your $15,000 roof, and we'll clean the gutters out real good before we put them on. We put them on. You really don't have to clean your gutters anymore. You know, maybe every few years you got to run a hose down them just to wash them out. But other than that, they're in good shape and they won't clog anymore. That sells it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Just frame it as that as an upgrade, and build the value. Build the value. Use your what's at your disposal. Use your ProLine template customizability to your advantage.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, and with all the stock templates now, I mean, as good as they are, all it takes now is just adding a personal upgrade the way you want it. Just putting a little tweak in one of those quote templates, and you're selling, you know, upgraded features really easily.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. All right. How can you use promotions or discounts to sell more roofs?
I was actually talking to one of my guys about that today. We were talking about running a 0% interest promotion on financing. That I think the way you do it is that's where social media is a big help. I don't want to say I don't believe in it. I haven't seen success from social media ads hardly at all this year. I think it's too saturated. But I think what you can do is use social media and your email list to stay in front of people that already know who you are. Ads, you're trying to reach out to new people. Organic social and email are contacts that you've already made an impression on of some kind, right? They already know who you are. They know you exist. So that's the group I want to kind of promote to. I think that's going to be the group that probably has you're going to see the best feedback from, because you've sent all these people quotes, you know, not necessarily all your social followers, but all your email list. You probably have sent most of them quotes, and I guarantee you didn't close all of them. You know, best case, you closed 30-40%, best case. So there's a huge percentage there that didn't close, and maybe a 0% financing option or a 50% off gutter upgrade option or something like that. I mean, I see those a lot. We don't really do that. We've offered free gutter guards before with the purchase of a new roof. But we've tried to present that to people we've already wrote quotes for. We will sometimes, if we're running a big promotion like that, because we do so much radio stuff, we will throw it into our radio commercial, and that puts it out very broadly to people. And that works as well. But I think that I think your email list and your social channels are where you've already been in front of these people. Maybe that's the nudge to get them to come back, circle back to you, or decide to pull the trigger with you.
Yeah, makes sense. So you don't think that has a tendency to lower the value of the service in any way, or to cheapen it? Or
no, I'm not really. I mean, here's the thing: everybody's doing it, so you know everybody's looking for a way to edge past the competition. And if that's a promotion, the only thing I'll say is a lot of the promotions, like for instance, the 50% off your gutter, right? Where we've got, I've seen in my market, I don't remember who it was, but free gutter with a new roof. Ain't no goddamn way you're giving away $3,000 worth of gutter on an $8,000 roof. You're not. No, or even $1,500 worth of gutter on an $8,000 roof. You can't. You're going to take a loss. So everybody just inflates their roof price to cover the gutter. And I've seen it. I know. I've literally quoted against these guys, and I see their quote, and somehow their roof is more expensive than mine, and I'm charging for the gutter. You know what I mean? It's like you just inflated your roof quote.
And it's
so
still overcharged.
you're still overcharging. So it's like the homeowners they pick up on that shit. So I don't like, that's not a good way to go. But if you're going to run a 0% financing campaign, Lowe's does that. Lowe's runs, they run a 3-month thing where it's 0% interest on for 18 months or whatever it is. I mean, you hear the commercial and stuff on TV, on the radio, wherever. There's really no gimmick there, right? It's 0% interest for 18 months. Like, there's no gimmick there. There's no inflating the price over here to make up the difference over here. It's pretty cut and dry. Yeah, I think certain things, absolutely. I mean, you can run that kind of promotion without being cheesy and not maintaining that higher level of integrity.
How do you run so that 0% interest? Are you running that? Like, how are you able to provide that? Are you running that with your financing provider, and do they have to then support that? Who's like covering the cost?
We eat a dealer fee. We eat a little bit more of a dealer fee to do that. So like our average dealer fees, an average runs in the 3 to 4% range. I never did get a chance to look today. I was supposed to look for John, but I think there's a 0% option, and I don't know if it might only be a 12-month for 0%, which is still 0%. Like, you've got a year to pay off this $10,000 bill, and it's the same as cash. But I think the dealer fee on it's like 9%. So we would have to essentially eat, 6% of the job for dealer fee to offer that promotion. It's not really something we can inflate, because 6% is a significant amount to the homeowner, and we don't sell financing well, so we don't want to scare our customers off that plan to pay cash.
Yeah,
we want to keep our price as good as we can, so we'll just eat the 6% from time to time to try to get that extra sale. And it's just part of it. We're eating 6%, and it is what it is. I mean, it sucks, but that, if you need to ramp sales up a little bit for a little period of time to build a backlog, that's just what you got to do.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right.
Mulehide sent me a sweet cup. How about that?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is nice.
Nice.
Got the laser etched.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. All right. Job site question. What safety protocols should be followed on a roofing job site?
They should probably be tied off. That'd be a good start. No, I'll tell you one that from experience, I'll tell you a good story of why. Is tying your ladder off. And I don't ever see anybody do it, but I can promise you should do that, especially sales guys. You're going out and measuring a roof. I'll tell you what happened to me. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Town. I don't even think it's a town. It's an area. It's called Dungannon. Like, it's the middle of nowhere, out 45 minutes from where I live. It's a pretty windy day. I'm up on a 1.5-story house, and the wind blows my freaking ladder over. I got no cell phone service. Nobody's home, and I'm stuck on their freaking roof, and I can't get down. So the only option I had was to jump, and I did, and I was okay. I mean, I was fine.
Duck and roll.
I ducked and rolled hard, and I had to take off running and jump because I didn't want to land on the concrete. There's a lot of concrete around there, so I had to jump out to land in the grass to try to soften the blow a little bit.
Well, that probably helps you roll though, because you're trapped.
It did. Yeah, it was a good landing. It was graceful. I felt good about it. Like, I might have done it again, but
let me get back up there.
Yeah, I was like, that wasn't that bad. Let's try that again. Make sure I'm all right. but it could have been worse. You know what I mean? Like, and that was also 5 years ago. I was 27 years old. I was pretty limber young fella. 10 years from now, I'm not going to want to jump off a story and a half house.
Yeah.
So tying your ladder off, that's a big one that definitely gets overlooked a lot. Bungee cord, just what I've seen a lot of guys do is just take a bungee cord and they wrap it around one of the upper rungs of their ladder, and then when they slide it up, they get up there, they just bungee cord it to the two closest gutter hangers, and now it can't go anywhere. So that's a good one. But yeah, tying off. I mean, and then the first man up. I did a video with pitch hoppers, which I love pitch hoppers. I'm a firm believer. They're fantastic. The video I did with them, I ended up checking it. It was an 18 on 12. And for those that don't know, that's freaking steep. Like, that's really, really steep. And I could stand on that roof, standing straight up on a pitch hopper. They stick. They just now that's not a recommendation saying you should use them on that. I don't know if there's a place they say that they shouldn't be on, but I pushed it to the limits. Like 18 on 12 is steep. But they also have a tool called the goat, and that's a great tool also for the first man up to tie off. It's a ridge hook. Basically, it hooks over the ridge, and then you've got these grab bars. Basically, you can walk up the roof while you're holding on, kind of pull yourself up there, and then you can be the guy that sets the anchor point for the harnesses. So yeah, those are probably to me the two that make a lot of sense. I'll tell you, the only times I've ever about fallen off of roofs were never on steep roofs, and I never tied off. Just to be dead ass with you, I always thought I was above that, and I didn't need it, and I never did tie off. Didn't matter how steep it was. The ones I about fell off were the 3 and 4 on 12 pitch roofs, and I just walk right off of the damn things.
Just forget you're up there.
Just forget you're up there because you're so comfortable. It's just like being on the ground, and you're just talking to your buddies up there. You're working, you're going like hell, having a good day, just going, and you're looking this way, walking this way. I mean, I've not fallen off, but my foot has landed over that edge more times than I can count. And I mean, you talk about scared. Like, when that happens, your heart just straight stops, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know that you just about went for a hell of a fall. But yeah, I mean, that's why tying off does matter, because I mean, who knows? You're talking. I was 6 inches from who knows. 2-story house, 20-something foot fall, and when you fall, it's not like jumping. There's no preparedness for it. You're going down really, really awkwardly. You just don't know. So, yeah, that'd be the two I would be most concerned with.
That makes sense. All right. So this question is, should I be attending trade shows and industry events as a roofing contractor? Is it worth my time?
Yeah, I think so. I never did until last year. I went to my first one. Which my business, the primary roofing business, really for me, we did everything until about 3 years ago. So it's, roofing was fairly new to me. And then last year, I kind of learned about these events and the shows and stuff, and went to a couple last year. And yeah, I think they're great. I think the only problem is that you got to be careful how many thoughts you get in your head. So I think that there's guys out there that have all these experienced people talking in their ears and giving them this great advice, and it's great advice. Like, it is great advice. Hey, you gotta go to bed. Hold on a second. Come on, upstairs. He was asleep. Like, before I come down, he was asleep. He's definitely might be sleepwalking, but Yeah. So no, but they get too many ideas in their head, and then you're not able to execute on any of them. So if you've got all these really good ideas and really good, opportunities to execute, but you don't have the time. So like for me, I think luckily I have a significant amount of time. So I can take on a significant amount of ideas, take that time, put them into processes and execute them. But if you're, still working on the job a lot, or if you're still, in sales a lot, you don't have a ton of extra time. So go to one event a year, maybe in the off season. There's a couple in the off season, one down in Orlando. There's going to be one over IRE is going to be in Texas. What's the one in Orlando called? RoofCon. And then you got a couple, right? There's a yeah, that one. There's 3 or 4 that I think are valuable. But I'd find one good one, and then but maybe buy the more expensive ticket to where you can go sit through some of the keynote speakers and stuff. Really get a good value out of the entire experience, and then take that back to your team or take your team with you, and then try to execute on one event. Because one event you can walk away with a lot of shit. You know, um, there's really not much sense in going to multiple events if you're not executing on the stuff you got from the first one.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Sometimes less is more.
You got to put it into a process, or it was a waste of time. And what could you have done with that time if you'd have just stayed home? So, that's just kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's do one more question and then we'll wrap up. We'll keep it simple. Staples or coil nails for underlayment? Or it's button heads, right? Staples or button heads?
I call them button caps, but
Button caps. That's
plastic caps, button cap, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, everybody knows what you're saying. So I thought it didn't really matter. I've got one crew that loves using staples. I got one crew that loves using button caps. I used to shoot it down with freaking coil roofing nails. If as long as it was a walkable roof, I just shoot it on with coil gun, like not the same things you'd shoot shingles down with.
Yeah.
And I never knew any different. And we had a guest not too long ago tell us that you're not allowed to use staples, but I asked my manufacturer rep on that, and he'd never heard that. So I was, yeah, I think that all are allowed. I Now that I'm not the one physically doing it day in and day out, I try to get the guys to use button caps, because I know that if we get some heavy wind, we get a pop-up thunderstorm, it's much more likely that that's not going to blow loose, right? Those button caps really do hold up. If we know we're leaving it overnight, they're definitely putting button caps on. We're not taking a chance with. We get like these weird pop-up storms all summer long that just out of nowhere you get this really intense 30-minute storm, and it will rip all the felt off the roof if it's just stapled on. So I do like button caps better. I just hated doing it when I was the one actually, because it's all hand drives. We had one of the Stinger guns, which is a button cap pneumatic gun.
Yeah.
That freaking piece of shit would jam all the time. And it was probably us. It's probably not the product, because I know they sell a bunch of them. I'm sure it was just we were idiots and didn't know how to use it, or we loaded it backwards or something. But I hated that thing. We never used it. So it was like I always hand drove button caps, and it's such a pain in the ass. It's so time consuming. I didn't want to fool with it. Right. But now I try to push the guys, but they want to. But they're using hammers with magnetic heads and things like that, to where it definitely speeds that up.
Not as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. All righty. Well, let's wrap it up there. No questions from the audience today. Small crowd.
Is it election
Uh,
night again or something?
yeah, right. I think everyone just forgot about us because of 4th of July.
Yeah.
We skip one week and now no one knows we exist.
We shouldn't have skipped. We should have stuck it out.
Oh man, it was on 4th of July, right?
It was, yeah, and
Yeah,
I was not. I was actually on true family vacation. I didn't have a computer or anything with me, so I was out.
yeah. I was, I was not. I was traumatized of 4th of July. I hadn't really been out in the sun yet this summer. I've been working. And so I went and tubing on the river here. And I just thought it'd be like a normal, a couple hours on the river. Turns out my buddy decided to do a 6 hour stint. So it was 6 hours sitting in the sun. And I put on a ton of sunscreen. And no one believes me. I put on so much sunscreen. I reapplied like 3 or 4 times. I was beat red from like just every like I have a farmer's tan and so it was all fine. But anywhere that had not been exposed yet this summer, so I had all of my chest, my shoulders, my stomach just like beat red. I'm
Oh yeah.
only just starting to like it's been peeling and stuff. I'm only it's like almost back to normal now, and this is a full week later. So it was like a week long healing. I'm pretty sure I had sun poisoning, but I was just taking Tylenol anyway because it hurt so bad. So it probably kept the fever down. So yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
That's awful.
Awesome
Yeah.
life. But,
I didn't do it. I didn't do anything exciting. I was actually kind of bummed. We had a great time on our family vacation, but that is the one. I don't do a lot of parties or a lot of that kind of stuff at my house. Um, we have cookouts from time to time. Friends come over, whatever, and but it's usually small, right? Just like a couple friends, couple kids, cook some burgers, cook some steaks, whatever. But 4th of July for the last since I built my house, which has been 5 years now. Yeah, 5 years is our party. And I go all out. Like I buy thousands of dollars worth of fireworks. I'm obsessed. Like I'm a pyromaniac, dude. I could light fireworks all freaking day. It doesn't bother me. I love it. Yeah, so I didn't get to do that. So I was a little bit bummed that 4th of July I had to go watch someone else light fire. We got to see some really nice fireworks, but
you're like you didn't get to hold the flame.
no, I want to light that shit up, man.
Oh man.
The first year we did it here, I'd never really bought the real big expensive ones. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna buy the good ones, the big mortars. Well, I didn't realize how far away from the house I should get, and I should have got a lot further away from the house because everything was just raining down on everybody standing at the house. So years since we've moved it way up the hayfield and do it way up in there. We had the whole field, big spot in the field on fire last year because it was so dry. It's been
Yeah.
so dry. We This year's the same way. It's probably a good thing I didn't do it because we haven't had rain here for a month. I feel like,
Yeah.
and it's been 90, so it's like super dry.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4th of July was I didn't get to get my fix.
So I gotta wait a whole nother year.
Yeah,
Maybe you can get like a partial fix at New Year's or something. You
I'm
can
gonna
get
I'm gonna do a little something. Maybe I thought about even Labor Day, just blowing off about $1,000 worth of them just to wake the neighbors up. I've got like the first farm past the subdivision, right?
Oh yeah.
It's subdivisions, then my place. So I really piss people off up here. We'll shoot skeet. We'll get clay pigeons out, and last what was it? No, it's been a few years ago. A few years ago for our Christmas party for work when I had like 15, 16 in-house employees, we had a skeet shoot for our Christmas party on my farm till about 10 o'clock at night. We had the lights out shooting skeet. I'm telling you, we had the whole freaking neighborhood pissed off because we're shooting 12 gauges. And then I got a couple of Marine employees. They're trying to shoot clay pigeons with 9 millimeters. So it's like Yeah, you got one boom, big shotgun, and then tap 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 tap. And it's like every time one goes. So we had him so pissed off. So it's whatever.
They call the HOA on you.
I ain't in it. I got 65 acres. They can't fool with me too much. So there is an HOA on the other side of the property line.
Other side, other side. There's a
That's it.
line in
You
the
stay
sand.
over there, fools.
Know your place, Karens.
Nobody really messes with me. You can tell they don't like me, but they don't mess with me. So
Yeah.
good enough. We can
Respect
live
that.
with that. We can both respect each other enough to just not like each other. That's okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
So
All
cool.
right. Well, let's wrap it up there and see everybody next week.
Yep. See ya.